Lintila and Mike Mullin will be hoping for good luck and good bowling right here, as this best of 35 Weber Cup is still in its infancy. Team USA leading Team Europe 2 points to 1, first to 18, and here's the Weber Cup rookie Lasse Lintila from Finland, bowling in his first singles match. And I was just about to say that looks good, but at least he hasn't left himself anything too unpleasant. He did bowl in that very first match, the Baker, when everybody got a bowl, and he would rather draw a discreet veil over that. He really struggled on this lane, Cass.
He certainly did, Nick, yes, and this shot's a little bit high on the head pin as well. He's left himself the 6th and 10 pin spare. Now he'll straighten this shot out across the lane and converts it quite easily in frame well.
So a spare for Lintila. Here is the baby of the Team USA team, but only by 3 months, Mike Mullin from New York City.
Yeah, Mike is the left-hander on the Team USA side.
Big fan of the New York Yankees baseball team. Doesn't quite pitch at that speed, but nevertheless, the results can be pretty effective.
Yeah, that's quite a nice shot. He's laid out on the lane quite, shall we say, with soft action. He hasn't forced it very much at all. He's just let the ball roll up the lane there. Lots of rotation, and as you can see, kind of roaring back from the left-hand side of the lane. It takes all 10 pins out.
So here's the Finn. Has a very sound temperament, terrific track record, lots of titles to his name, but this is a new experience for him, and I don't care how good you are, this environment can sometimes play tricks on you, but at last he gets himself a strike. I say at last, I'm going back to that Baker as well. I think that's his first strike on this lane, and that will settle his nerves considerably. Yeah,
it was a nice shot from Lasse. He's certainly not a rookie to the game of bowling. He's been around for many years, and as you say, he's won a lot of tournaments, but first time here.
This single track is a unique environment. Until you bowl on it, you don't quite know how you're going to react to it. Mullin, of course, a veteran of last year's successful campaign.
Nick, this is one fantastic shot. There's some real rotation on this ball and a lot of hook. Comes right back from the edge of the lane to strike and give Mike a double in the second frame. Here we see it again. Goes long, and here comes the rip back straight in the pocket. Beautiful 10.
So he's off with a double. Can the man from Finland match him with a double of his own? Married man with 3 young kids, all under the age of 5. So if he looks a bit tired, we know why, Cass.
Doesn't leave him a lot of time for bowling, does it?
It certainly doesn't.
I also understand he's building his own house at the moment in Finland.
He's probably glad to get away for a few days, isn't he?
He's just re-racking the pins. He's allowed to do that. If he's not happy with the way the pins set themselves, one occasionally comes down off spot, he is allowed to re-rack it and have a fresh set.
A bowling centre manager by profession, as indeed so many of these semi-pro bowlers are. He too gets himself a double, and he enjoyed that.
Yeah, nice shot. We didn't see too much of it, but it was in the pocket. He's given himself a double. Come on, and he was looking for it. His reaction after the pins went down showed us he was very happy with that one.
Seemed a bit more confidence in that ball as well, a lot of rotation. But here's Mullin with a double to his name. And the reason he's taking his time is that the pins are only just now being re-racked, so just a little delay there for Mullin, and sometimes those delays can have an effect. But hopefully Mullin has maintained his focus, and the left-handed New Yorker comes in looking for 3 in a row and gets them.
He's pretty lined up on this lane. 3 strikes in a row. Nick, you may remember that we saw Mike have a really high game last year in this tournament. I think his first game was 278, which was a fantastic score. And he's certainly got this one lane beaten.
Yes, he does thrive on it, doesn't he? Really does. But here's a fella in his first gladiatorial shootout, and the pins again not racked properly, so they're being reset. And this isn't what the Finn needs at all.
Here we see the mechanics of the pin spotter.
I always ask this question, how many moving parts in there, and nobody can ever give me an answer.
121.
You just made it. Nobody can prove you wrong.
That's right, Nick. Yeah, thanks a lot. Lasse is a former gold medal winner in the World Championships in 1999. And he's been the champion of Finland 3 times.
Dear. Now he left himself that spare in his Baker and he didn't get it. He left the 10 pin standing.
That's right, yeah. It's the 3-6 and the 10 pin. He needs to straighten his shot out and just let the ball run down and take these 3 away. The first shot was a little bit high on the head pin. Out of his strike pocket.
I wonder if the delay had anything to do with that shot. I'm sure he won't try and hide behind that excuse, but he must make sure of getting that 10 this time, and does.
Okay, he's 2 spares, 2 strikes. He's all clean after 4 frames.
Unfortunately, this fella has had strike, strike and strike, and the man playing in his 3rd Weber Cup has a pretty good record in this competition as well, Cass. 8 wins, 4 losses. He thrives on this.
Nick, I don't really want to say this, but I will do. He's on a 300 game.
Well, you can shut up now, can't you? Talk about a jinx.
Sorry, Mike.
He'll be looking for you afterwards.
No, it wasn't the greatest shot. It was light on the head pin. He tried to spin him around and cascade the pins, but unfortunately one left standing. Yeah, it's just gone that bit longer, that shot. Didn't quite get back.
That's a classic example of the commentator's curse. As soon as you mention the 300, you know something bad's going to happen.
I was hoping he was going to prove me wrong, but
he didn't. Never happens.
And there's those 121 moving parts of the Brunswick pin spotter.
And it means that Lintila can now get himself back into this. He's been waiting for Mullin to give him an opportunity, and any time a player like Mullin does give you a chance, you have to take it. So a strike here, absolutely vital.
12 pins adrift after 4 frames. And he must have heard you, Nick. Great shot. Fabulous strike from Lasse. Putting the pressure right back on Mike Mullin.
Yes, no doubt about it all the way. Flush into the pocket. See you later. Phil Scammell from the south coast of England, Shoreham to be specific, waiting for his chance. Mike Mullin looking to get back in the strike zone. And leaving the 7 pin.
There's a lot more power on that shot. It actually ripped back.
Tim Mack on the right, Bill Hoffman, Tim Mack the American captain, talking tactics. Maybe getting ready. Tim will be playing in the next match, in fact. Now, I wonder if the lane condition has changed a little bit for Mullin. There is a film of oil along the first 40 feet of this 60-foot lane, and that does dry out, especially under these television lights. And he successfully makes the spare, but after having 3 strikes in a row, he's had a couple of spares here. I wonder if the lane's had anything to do with that, and this match has now got very close indeed.
Quite right about the lane conditioner. Yes, under the television lights, the oil could evaporate, and it also moves with the as the balls are rolled down the lane. It tends to drag the oil further down past the 40 feet mark, and consequently the break point moves around, and these players have to adjust frame by frame to that. They have to see how their ball is reacting.
Well, however that oil is moving around on that lane, it's moving in Lasse's favour.
Yeah, Lasse's, I think he's moved a little bit left on the approach, and he's playing a much wider shot, giving himself more angle with the ball. And the last 2 shots have been rather good, right in the 1-3 pocket.
Tora Torgersen, another Team Europe member from Norway. Oh, they're a little powwow there, aren't they? Now, can he get back in the strike zone? A couple of spares. That's more like it. Wonder if he's made an adjustment.
I think he threw the ball a little bit harder just to get it down the lane further and reduce the amount of angle as he went in the pocket, and it certainly had the effect. A little bit straighter into the pocket and clears all 10 out.
I think if I've done my sums correctly, he's just got his nose in front, and there we are. There's confirmation, just one pin in it now, so Lintila can't afford to take his foot off the gas. He's got to keep the pressure on with a strike. This will be 3 in a row. Turkey, if he can achieve it. Ooh, the 10-pin has frustrated him.
The elusive 10-pin, the nightmare for the right-hander off of a pocket hit. Was a good shot and could well have been 3 strikes in a row. Unfortunately, he has to take it as a spare now.
And got to make sure of it as well. As you say, Cass, these 10 pins are the ones the right-handers don't like. They do get missed. They shouldn't at this level. But funny things do happen.
Easily done. Nice straightforward spare from Lasse.
But a double here from the New Yorker could put him back in control of this match. Just needs to give himself a little bit of breathing room. He's blowing into the thumb hole, getting that grip absolutely right. Looks up, addresses the pins, steps up, and is it a double? No, it was a bad shot as well.
Yeah, it came in very high through the head pin. It hooked early on him, and that could have been something to do with the lane condition, as we spoke earlier.
He's lucky to get away with that, isn't he, Cass? That could have been much worse.
Yes, he managed to break the pins up and leave himself something to shoot at for a spare, but as we've seen previously, those splits are rather elusive when they stand up.
Should get a spare here without too much difficulty. It does, but he's just opened the door up again for Lasse. He's still in front, the American, but much too close to call this one at the moment.
Yeah, just 2 pins in it, so it can go either way. One errant shot could lose the game. Coming into frame 7 now. Lasse Lintila working on a spare.
Pressure shot, this one. Oh, didn't he respond well? Now, talking about pressure, that spun it the other way. Mullin needs a strike now.
It's funny how this game goes backwards and forwards, Nick. It's Lasse who's now put the pressure on Mike. And he'll need to respond.
Well, he's trailed all the way, Lintila, but he's hung around, and that's the key, isn't it? Don't let that gap get too big. Just stay close to your opponent, and then maybe something good can happen. And now it's Mullin that needs the strike. And he's on the head pin again, but he got away with it.
Yeah, pretty good looking shot that was, and a great response. These two are actually really on top of their game at the moment now, and it could go either way.
Two pins in it, I think, Cass.
Just 2 pins in it, and both working on a strike. Looking pretty good. 2 frames to go.
And this is where the mind games start to play, isn't it? This is where the pressure really comes on. You're at the business end. Here we are, frame 8, nothing in it. Whose nerve's going to break? Lintila, can he keep the strikes up? Yes, he can.
Yes, and that's a double, and we actually heard from some of the supporters shouting there for a strike, and it was absolutely perfect. So he's standing well left on the approach, and you can see the amount of hook he's getting on that ball.
Gary Verbruggen, the Belgian, who won his singles match, and very emphatically as well, so he can afford a smile.
I thought he was falling asleep for a minute there.
Not with this match, surely. Now, can Mullin keep it going? No.
A costly mistake, no doubt. Very high through the head pin. Leaves himself a single 2 pin to spare, but a spare is not what he wanted. Lasse has doubled, and Mike needed the double. So the pressure is really on him now. Yeah, he's just come up short with that shot.
I thought he got away with it the last time as well. He's not looked happy after opening up with that 3 in a row. And I believe for the first time in this match, Lintila has got his nose in front, and having got himself there, can he ram home the advantage?
A strike here, Nick, will do him the power of good. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows how to do it. He's got this lane beaten. He's striking at will.
Well, frame 10, 3 strikes will lock the American out and give the point to the Finn. Oh, now then, a sleeper. Nasty.
Overcooked it a bit, I'm afraid, there. Was just looking for too much of the lane. The ball went down the lane just a little bit too far. It didn't break back to the 1-3 pocket. And that horrible 2-8 sleeper that we've spoken about before. Yes, it's only just hit that head pin.
Yep. That was expensive, it really was. He's got to make sure of this to give himself one more ball. Oh dear, that is a collapse from the Finn. Disaster, right in the 10th frame. 212 he finishes with. And Mullin probably can't believe his luck.
Doesn't even need to strike, but I'm sure he'll try to. This very much looks as though it's going back to USA. It's been neck and neck all the way.
Well, what a cruel game this can be. Well, that should be enough.
No, he needs a spare. Spare to win it.
But how tough for Lasse to be sticking around and bowl well and just hang in there, then to get in front in the 9th frame and to have a disaster in the 10th. Now Mullin needs this. It's the good news for him is it's the 10 pin, which is the one the lefties like to aim at, and he's got it. And he needs 6 to pinch the points.
Now this will be interesting. Now, would he go for his strike shot, or will he just throw the ball straight up the middle and guarantee getting 6?
All he needs is 6, and the match is his.
Yeah.
And he makes sure by getting all 10 of them. And Mullin, who got off to the fast start, then wobbled, and then got a big break when Lasse Lintila just collapsed in the last frame, and that allowed the American from New York, Mike Mullin, to take this match by 5 pins, 217 plays, 212, and Team USA now has a 3-1 lead.